Welcome to South Florida saltwater fishing. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite.
Wahoo in the boat, baby! That's a solid kingfish right there. Yeah, nice dolphin. There we go. That's dolphin trolling for you.
Let's do this.
Double header!
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Right on the boat.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Alright folks, in this episode, we're going to go over Berkeley Gulp baits. We're going to cover what makes them so unique, what makes them so special, and why they dominate in an ultra-competitive market of soft bait manufacturers. Before we get into this though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss a thing. Alright folks, so like I said, we're going to go over Berkeley Gulp soft baits and basically prove to you why you should go with this bait when selecting a soft bait lure to pitch out and go fishing with. What we're going to do is we're going to go over the bait a little bit. We're going to do a water dispersion test to show you how effective they are compared to another top competitor. Now I'm not going to focus on much of the top competitor, but the next one in line when it comes to soft baits would be Z-Man. But like I said, the focus is on Berkeley, and this is my go-to choice when it comes to soft baits and fishing. So to start off, we got to say that Berkeley Gulp is made with pride by fish scientists. They've gone through extensive technological studies to ensure that fish actually believe this is food. When they're producing gulp baits, they're made differently. These soft plastics are soluble, which means they absorb their technologically developed bait fish scent, and then they hold it in, and then it is meant to disperse it through water. What's special and unique about their bait scent in this, the little juice you see inside the package, is that it's not oil-based, which allows it to be absorbed. And that's one of the main differences of the soft plastic that Berkeley has developed for their baits, is this absorption and dispersion factor. So what I'm trying to get at is this dispersion factor from their bait scent that has been absorbed by the plastic. What it does is it improves your strike zone as it disperses. An oil-based bait scent will literally just rest on the outer layer of a soft plastic and wash off within a few minutes. When it comes to Berkeley's soft plastic, that stuff is infused to the core of the bait, and it slowly disperses over a period of time, and it keeps on giving. So you're going to be able to use these baits over and over and over again until they get hit so much that they're chewed up and they're destroyed. Alright, so we're not going to waste much of our time. We're going to get right into the water dispersion test, which is going to show you which of the two baits absorb their scent better and over time disperse it better. A little bit of a 1 versus 1 challenge. We're going to start out with a basic empty plastic bag. We're going to take one Berkeley Gulp bait and we are going to drop it in our bag. One Z-Man, and we're going to drop it in our bag. Alright, so the next step of this test is we're going to take food coloring to act as a dye. We are going to squirt a bunch of food coloring in there. Alright. 1 teaspoon of water, just so we get a little bit more liquid in there. Drop in our teaspoon of water. Get some air out of our baggie. And we're going to drop it down and we're going to start, sort of massaging in the color. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to let this rest overnight for 24 hours. Let this stuff absorb good and solid and thick and go into the plastic. And then we're going to come back and do our dispersion test, see what happens. See who lets out scent bigger, better, longer, and stronger. Alright folks, and it has been 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. Give it a little bit more absorption time. And what you can see is still our Berkeley bait has, absorbed a bunch of that food color. It's nice and green. The competitor still doesn't really look like it absorbed pretty much anything. So what this is showing you is that absorption factor that I was talking about. The plastic bait from Berkeley Gulp is itself soluble. It absorbs, it holds, and now we're going to show you how it disperses. If you look at the competitor, the absorption factor just really isn't there. Okay, so our dispersion test is very simple. We're going to rig up the baits very simply, put them on a jig head. We're going to dunk them in some water, and we're going to show you the dispersion differences over a half-hour period. Of course, it's going to be a time-lapse video. We're not going to make you hang out real long. It's going to last about a minute and a half, but we're going to explain what's going to happen as it's happening. All right, and we are now going to begin the water dispersion test by dropping our baits in, and we will now begin. All right, so what we're going to notice as we start this test is that initially both baits have what is considered surface dye. That, of course, is going to wear off immediately within the first 2 minutes or so. So after 2 minutes, of course, we can see that the Berkeley bait is starting to disperse the scent and the dye into the water, whereas the competitor is seeming to have already lost its surface color and doesn't seem to be dispersing anything at all. And after 5 minutes of the test, we start to really see the results. The Berkeley bait water is starting to turn a darker colored green. You can see the dispersion streams coming down from the bottom of it, whereas the competitors seems to have not really done much other than lost its surface color. And what this is showing you is the difference between a technologically advanced scent that is formulated to absorb into a special soft plastic versus a bait that is not that absorbent and has an oil-based scent that is just laying on the surface. And now after 10 minutes, the dispersion test is quite apparent which way this is going. It is a one-sided challenge right here. The Berkeley Gulp has completely discolored the water. The dispersion is still going strong, whereas the competitor, of course, is still floating, and there's zero dispersion, zero watercolor change at all within the last 8 minutes or so. Just proving the point that Berkeley Gulp baits are made differently than all other soft baits. It's really hard to understand Berkeley Gulp's absorption power unless you see it for yourself in a comparison to another bait. It's holding in the scent, and then it is slowly releasing it over time, and it's going to keep going. And as you can see by the results as we approach the 30-minute mark, that Berkeley Gulp's proven dispersion scent formula creates more than 400 times the scent dispersion than your average top-notch competitor. Alright folks, and there you have it. An honest to goodness, apples to apples, fair water dispersion test. What we did is we showed you the effectiveness of how the scent is released from both baits in a time-lapse video. This test doesn't get any more fair. We had the same size baits, we soaked them in the same bag in the same dye for a 24-hour period, we hooked them up on the same jigs, we submerged them both in the same amount of water in the same containers, we submersed them both equal levels in the water, and the results are astronomically different. I mean, if we examine what's going on here right now, still after 30 plus minutes, the Berkeley Gulp bait is actually still dispersing scent. Let me take you in closer and show you what I'm talking about. What we're talking about is right here, this little line right here from the bait coming down, that's the dispersion of the scent. That is some insane quality from a scented soft plastic bait. I mean, after 30 plus minutes, you're still fishing with this thing and it's still dispersing its scent into the water. Whereas the competitors seem to have, sputtered out after the surface dye or scent wore off. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm referencing oil-based scent. I want to talk a little bit about absorption too. If you look at the Berkeley bait, it's suspended and it's actually wanting to sink, it's weighted down. That means it has absorbed liquid and it is heavier than water, thus it wants to sink. If you look at the competitor, the plastic is actually floating. So that means it really didn't absorb anything at all. You can tell by the technology of the Berkeley bait and their patented soft plastic formula that it truly does absorb moisture and fluid into it, makes it heavier, and it holds it. And then quite clearly, over a fair amount of time, it continually disperses. Whereas an oil-based scent, like I was talking about, will pretty much just stay on the surface of the bait and get washed out in a short period of time, such as the competitor. And like I said, the competitor seemed to have not absorbed anything and is simply floating up on top, as it did right from the get-go. So that was good fun and all, showing you, that this is true science at work. Now we're going to go have a little fun. We're going to take some Berkeley Gulps out on the water. We're going to put them up against the competitor. We're going to have us a little challenge, see who truly works in the real world too. So let's go out on the boat, have a little bit of fun, try and get into the bite. All right, folks, so we've headed out of Key Largo this morning, out of North Sound Creek, to a great fishing spot known as the Patch Reefs. So what we're here to do is we're going to put soft plastic baits to the test. The Berkeley Gulp bait, mainly focusing on its scent dispersion power, just to show you how long this bait can be used, how versatile and how effective it is. So most of the time when people hear soft plastics, they tend to think freshwater, which is not the case at all. Berkeley makes a great saltwater bait. Now also, you tend to think of it as like a bottom fishing, shallow water, skinny water, backcountry sort of flats fishing thing. Maybe even a sight pitch bait. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun trolling with it. Okay, so we're currently sitting in right around 13 feet of water. We got the small patches of reefs kind of scattered all around us. When you're trolling these patches, you want to look for the sandy areas and you want to go over where the sand bumps up and meets coral heads structure. That's where the fish hide. To troll, we're going to be using light spinning gear, snapper spinners. This is a Penn Battle 5000 on a 7-foot Penn Battalion rod. Our terminal tackle is going to be this little 1/4 ounce jig, and we're going to hook our plastic onto that. And we're going to have a second rod out, which is this, another small snapper spinner. This is a Penn Spin Fisher 5500. Same rod, Penn Battalion rod, 7 foot. All this gear is rated 12 to 20 pound class. And we've also got a little 1/4 ounce white jig head on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the exact baits you just saw in the scent dispersion test. If you've never rigged one of these up before, it's fairly simple. What we're going to do is we're going to take our jig head, and again, you're going to want to line it up and put the head right at the tip of the plastic. Figure out where your hook is going to come through, pinch it. We'll start driving the hook straight through the center of it, and you're going to want to sort of feed your bait onto it until you get the hook to come out right where you wanted it to. And then you just sort of fill it up and you're good to go. That's your rigged up bait. All right, now we're gonna rig up our competitor bait, which is, as you saw from the scent dispersion test, is an oil-based bait. So we'll see what we can get into the bite with on both of these baits. Gonna have us a little fishing challenge. Fishing the same size baits, same jig heads, same gear. We've showed you technically which bait should work better, but now it's time to really, get out here and do a little bit of fishing, which is what we do. Now we're gonna crank up the engine, we're gonna get underway, head over to the patches a little bit, and start boogieing around. See what we can find. All right, so we're heading up to where the patches are, about 100 yards in front of us over here. We got the fish slayer with us. You ready for some fishing?
Yes.
All right. So we're coming over some patches. First bait that's going to go out is going to be our Berkeley bait, Berkeley Gulp. Again, we're fishing with spin gear. Might be pitched out. We're already halfway out there. Enough government work. All right. Now we're going to pitch out to sea, man.
right, so we're open trolling. We got a Berkeley Gulp bait here on the Penn Battle 5000. We got the competitor over here on the Spin Fisher. Starting to troll around. We're right around 14 feet of water right now. So we're heading to an area of the patches where I quite frequently get hit. And to see what happens as we skirt over them. Like I said, going from the sand to the coral. We're right around 4 knots right now. Head back over this way. Oh, and there we go. And we're on. Oh. Might have just cut me off. All right, so they're quite obviously pegging the Berkeley bait a little bit more than the competitor right now, which is fine. Coming up to some sand right here, so we'll be going from the coral to the sand this time. See if they want to hit that tactic. If not, we can reverse it. Oh, there we go. Just saw a hit right there. There we go. Oh, there we go. We got one on the Berkeley Gulp. Drop it back a little bit. You seem to let it go. All right, we'll keep going. They're hitting it. Oh, there he goes. Let him eat it. Drop it back to him. Oh, he's on. Oh. And he just popped me off. That was going to be a barracuda. Cut my bait off. All right. As you can see, they're tearing up the Berkeley baits. Seaman didn't get hit at all right now. He's at, yeah, there we go. That's classic barracuda cut off over the patch reefs. But hey, as you can see quite clearly, the Berkeley Gulps are getting hit left and right now. We're in the zone, we're in the fish, and you know, the competitor, the next top brand in this market, not even remotely even getting touched. So we're gonna get right back to it, re-rig, and keep at it, head back there. All right, folks, so I'm out of the baits that we used in the challenge, so we're just gonna go with the same bait, pretty much same bait. This is a little shad in a different color, Berkeley Gulp. Hey, when you run out, you run out. They're getting eaten up by the barracudas. And again, same thing, 1/4 ounce jig head. Just gonna rig that bad boy up. All right, we're good to go. We're gonna get right back to it. All right, we're heading over a ledge right here. Going over a ledge right there. We're just gonna swing around and go right back to it. Oh, there we go, we're on. Oh, there we go. All right, good fish out of Berkeley. There we go. All right, here we go, big guy. You want to fish?
Yes.
All right, put that hand up here. All right, there we go. Got Abby on a fish, the fish slayer. Let's see what we got. Let me see. Are we still tight? Yeah, we're tight. Here you go, big guy. Come on. Reel. All right, there you go. Pull back, big guy. There we go. Pull back. Keep it tight. Keep the line tight. Pull back. You got to pull back, big guy. There you go. Pull back. Reel. Let's see what we got. No. Oh no, we did. Oh, look at this. We did have a fish. That shows you how brutal the barracudas are. We had a yellowtail on the Berkeley swim bait, but of course, you know, we got a head left of them. So, all right, here we go. We're coming up to another ledge. That's gonna lead from the coral into the sand. You know, classic patch reef trolling. See if we can pick somebody off this time. There we go. We're on. All right. There we go. Let's see if we can get this fish to the boat. it's Berkeley Gulp all day with this stuff. Here he comes. Looks like it's gonna be a yellowtail snapper. If I can get him up to the boat. Or the cougars get him. Yep, he's flopping. Definitely a yellowtail snapper. All right, first fish of the day. Gonna be boated. Gonna be a live one too. And there we go, yellowtail snapper. He actually looks like he might be a keeper on the Berkeley Gulp. And look at that. He literally ate that whole lure, which shows you, I mean, man, that's how we get it done there. This just shows you the effectiveness of the Berkeley Gulp. I mean, this is why it dominates this market. Hit after hit after hit. Finally, we got a whole fish to show you for the facts. Okay, folks, that was some good old-fashioned fishing fun over the Patch Reefs with the Berkeley Gulp bait and the top-notch competitor, the Z-Man. So, you know, what I want to do right now is I want to head offshore a little bit deeper. See if we can, you know, go out and maybe test it against some pelagics. See if we can have a little bit of fun. We're only going to throw in the Berkeley Gulps out there. But before we do that, I just want to show you something here. The difference. We lost so many jigs. The barracudas got hit, had lures, got torn up and everything. And here is the single bait from our competitor, entirely untouched, still fresh as new. That should give you some sort of understanding of how these baits work, between the dispersion test, letting out the scent, and, you know, attracting fish, because it's trailing. Especially when you're trolling, this thing's dispersing, leaving a scent. The fish follow it up and they come and they hit it. The competitor, it washes off as soon as it pretty much hits the water, and then you're just, you know, you're sight fishing, hoping that a fish is hungry. Okay, folks, so we've headed offshore a little bit. We're over the reef. I'm gonna prep my bait because about a quarter of a mile ahead of me, I see some birds. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with bigger shads, again, from Berkeley Gulp. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out one of our shads. These are 6.5 inches. We've hooked up a basic knocker rig, 1/2 ounce sinker, 5/0 J hook, and again, same small snapper spinners that we were using. And then you just, you know, we're basically going to feed the shad onto the hook. And then when you've got about, you know, this much left of your hook, you want to pop it through, and there you go, you're done. Up and ready to troll. And again, like I said, we're heading offshore with these things, so, you know, that's the intention. We're going after pelagic fish right now. A couple of Berkeley Gulp baits. Gonna see if we can get into the bite with some big boys. Have a little bit of fun. And head out over this deep ledge of the reef. All right, we're up and trolling. We got frigates in the sky. So we're gonna see if we can, you know, figure out if something's swimming around that wants to eat some bait. Reel. Hold up, pull back. Reel on the way down. Just got hooked up on the Berkeley Gulp. There we go, pull back, reel on the way down. Pull back, reel on the way down. All right, again, we headed offshore. We're in about 250 feet of water. We just got hit on the Berkeley Gulp. All right, come on, pull back, keep it tight, reel on the way down. There you go. Pull back, reel on the way down. There we go. We got the big guy on a fish, the fish slayer. There we go. All right, take your time and see what we got when we get it up to the boat. It's gonna be awesome. This is the power and the versatility of these little plastic baits. That scent that it disperses, so it gets fish following it. All right, here we go. I see our fish. Oh, keep him over here, big guy. There we go. Here he comes. I need you to walk that way a little bit, big guy. You're looking like blackfin tuna. All right, reel up. Reel up a little bit. There we go, blackfin tuna in the boat. Oh, there we go. And there's that Berkeley bait right there. The Gulp does its job. Look at that. Nice little blackfin tuna football. Going home with some more dinner.
Yes.
Offshore. That just shows you that, you know, the Berkeley Gulp bait's got, you know, a little bit of everything going on for them.
All right, folks, that about does it for this episode. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned a little bit about Berkeley Gulp baits and their scientifically, technologically advanced, proven formulas, not only for their soft plastic baits, but for also their scent and its dispersion capabilities to help you get into the bite. Till next time, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.